Good evening, everyone. We are back in Vintage Story. We're going to continue our playthrough that we've been working on in our game that we're calling the Vintage Hermit Lands. It's the name of the saved game I've got going. I'm streaming again tonight because that seems to be, working for me. I'll upload this to YouTube later, so for my YouTube folks, you'll get to see this after the stream. We're loading in right now. Last when we left off, we just recovered our body and our goods from a vicious wolf attack that I may have provoked by trying to chase the wolves out of my yard. So let's see where we're at in game. It's 11 in the morning. Make sure we got all of our stuff. Check our inventory. See what we're looking at. We'll put down this extra firewood here. So we got some extra space. Throw this extra wood in here. Keep that little bit of firewood with us. We'll get rid of that stone too. Keep the grass as well, because we're going to have to do some more clay tossing. The other thing we're going to do is I do think it is time that we started looking at setting up a farm. And I think we'll set our farm up kind of out here in front of the house. That's what I'm thinking. Start converting some of this area into farmland. And as you can see, our pit kilns are still burning up there. Get our spear out just because the wolves may still be around. We're going to put these stones down just to get them out of our inventory. Alright, let's take a quick look around. See if those nefarious wolves are still about in our yard. Not to mention, they would be a good source of food to have if we killed them. I think, nope, the piglet's alive. Alright, let's rate our little piglet we captured down there was dead. I should really consider putting some food down there for him. See if we can't get him to grow up. Gonna eat some more of these berries really quick. Up, there's a wolf. Helps if I don't throw low. Where's the other one? There's the other one. Wow, I am just shooting low today. Which one do we chase? We chase the black one. The other one. And there's the black one. We can see it. See if we can't eliminate these wolves. Make our home a little bit safer. This one's really running for it. I'm worried that he's going to turn around and attack. That looks like a bear. I think that might be a bear. Well, if Wolf's gonna go hide with the bear, he can stay over there. Because I'm not fighting a bear in my current setup. Where'd the wolf go? Good evening. Welcome to chat. Evelyn. Y'all got any questions? Feel free to ask. We're just sitting here. I think that's a chicken. Yeah. See if I can't find that wolf though. It's escaped me. Alright, well we'll leave the wolf be. It's in this thicket, we're never gonna find it if I can get unstuck from these trees. It's going pretty well. Thanks for asking. And thanks for following. It's great. Followers help. So we're playing a bit of Vintage Story today. It's a fun game. It's a nice survival game. And we're doing a vanilla playthrough, no mods on this one. And my goal is a couple fold here. Right now, I'll try to get the wolves out of my front yard effectively, because they killed me last stream. Okay, I'm gonna turn my game volume down, you got it. Oh yeah, I see where that's kind of high up there. Yep, sorry about that game volume. How's that? That better on the game volume? You doing better on that game volume there? Awesome. And thanks for giving me a heads up on that. There we go. Alright, but yeah, no, we're trying to get rid of the wolves in my front yard. So that I can safely establish a farm, actually. So that I have enough food in the game to survive for winter. That, and we're also going to try and play through the story, because I've never actually played through the full storyline in this game. Even though I have like 100 hours in it. No, I don't plan on necessarily working out tonight, but like in the game, I plan on setting up a farm and doing some panning. This is going to be a fairly chill stream because we're trying to get into the Copper Age in the game. Yep. Alright. Well, it looks like the wolves have left, so let's go ahead and get this panning thing started here. Especially since I got some extra food in those mushrooms there. Alright, and what do we got? Okay, field mushrooms, perfect. I can put those in this chest. Cool. Throw that down there, and we're gonna need some clay, because we're gonna have to do a little bit of clay forming. Alright, let me see here. Where did I put my... There it is. My gravel. That's what I'm going to be panning tonight, is that gravel there, and I'll need my pan. Helps if I don't have anything in my hand, so I can pick up my pan. There we go. Alright. And then we'll seal this back up. Part of the reason I'm sealing my... Yeah, I know, I've got chat. How long I've been playing this particular game? I've played the game itself probably about 100 hours. This particular playthrough, I'm about 3 hours into. So, this is a fresh playthrough. Again, I decided to do a fresh one since I wanted to stream it a bit. I'm going to throw down a little sealed-in work area here. I didn't want to put a block there. So that I have a safe place to do some panning, because I think I'll pan through the night in the game. I don't want any unexpected wolf-like visitors. And there we go. That will be enough right there, I think. Yeah, we can work with that. Alright. Let me grab some more grass. Where am I from? I'm from Florida. I live in the southeast of the United States. What about you? In the United States, or are you abroad somewhere? Yeah, cool. Texas, nice. So, have you played much Vintage Story? I like colony builders, I like space games, I like grand strategy. I actually like a very wide variety of games. One of my favorite games, which I also have a series that I'm doing, is RimWorld, which is a colony builder game. And then I also like games like Stellaris, which I'm not currently doing streams on that right now, but you know, I've played tons of hours of that. I also love survival games. Like I've played a ton of Conan Exiles over the years. I can hear one of the wolves out there still. I've also been playing a ton of Dune Awakening. Oh, you like cozy games? Stardew Valley? Do you like Stardew Valley? Because I've played, I don't even know how many hours of Stardew Valley. Nice. Yeah, there's several good cozy games that are coming out this year as well. Like, I'm actually probably going to do some Fields of Mystria, if you've heard of that one. Because they actually recently, I think it's either just yesterday or the day before, or maybe it's tomorrow, I forget which day, they're dropping a big update for Fields of Mystria as well, which is a nice little cozy game where you're rebuilding a town much like Stardew Valley, but with a little bit of a twist to it, which I think is nice. Alright, I'll throw that there. There we go. Now I've got my panning hut set up. Another one that just came out into early access that I'm thinking about picking up when we're talking cozy games here is what was that game called? It was Grim something. Hold on, I'm gonna look that up real quick while I'm thinking about it. But it's kind of like Stardew Valley meets Watership Down, is the description I was told about this game. Grimshire. Yeah, no, it's a fairly new channel. I'm still working on getting my setup done. Custom assets is one of the things that's in the future to come. Alright, so I've got my painting area set up. But yeah, no, it's one of the things I want to do. I'm just not there yet. I also need to get like my alerts set up to work better. Oh, you do work for streamers. Yeah, sure, if you've got like a link or something, you know, or something I can see for reference, that'd be great. I haven't set up Discord yet, or an Instagram for the channel. Like, I have a personal Instagram, technically. I don't put anything on it. I almost never use it. Let's see here. Where do I want to set up my farm? I think I'll do my farm, because I got trees there. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. I don't have Twitter set up. I mean, I do, personally, but I don't really use it for social stuff too much. Alright. Darlene. Actually face the same issues on my Discord. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, I'll send you a message after the stream then. Have my mod take note of that. I do actually have a mod. So, I'm just putting all this dirt in the wrong place. Alright. Leave that one open. Alright. Go. Yeah, absolutely. I will do that after the stream, as I said. There. Cool. That will be my farmland for starting off here. Now, there's a reason I'm building it like a pattern like that. And that's so that I can put water in those holes and keep it watered without me having to build a watering can. And add extra work to my game. And it's nice to meet you as well. And thank you for stopping by stream and following me. Very kind. we go. Get all this going. Get the grass off there before I can till it. But we'll get the farming setup done first, and then we'll worry about panning here in a minute. Because one of the things the panning's for is so I can get my copper tools, which will then allow me to get a saw. Oh, that hoe did not last very long. Alright, gotta make a new tool. And once I get to copper tools, I'm specifically starting with a pickaxe, so I can mine more copper more efficiently. I can then make a saw, which will let me make boards, which will let me make a bucket, so I can actually water the crops more effectively. If people are curious as to what I'm doing in stream, and why I'm doing the things I'm doing. Alright, that's all tilled. Nice. Go put this tool away. Because the cool thing is, once that's tilled, it won't come untilled. It might grow grass if there's no crops growing on it, but that's a minor problem. Put my tool on my tool rack there. Alright. Put the spears in the inventory. I don't need the spears on the hotbar. And I don't need this dirt anymore. Alright. I think I will make an extra torch. Just in case. Those wolves are still out there. Put my torch down and light my torch. Alright. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because lit torches actually don't go out in your inventory. It's really kind of nice. I need some more food, I just realized. Let's see here. Alright, I still have some berries, so we'll eat those first. And we'll do that. I need to get this soil out of my inventory. We'll eat these mushrooms as well with these berries. I'll eat one of these turnips. I'm trying to save a nice stack of food. There we go. Alright. Go ahead and get our character all nice and filled up before we start our evening of panning. Nice relaxing panning stream for those who want to relax. Alright. Grab this. Actually, I will take and get rid of 2 of these spears real quick. Actually, I will put this clay away, because I'm not going to be using it right now. And I'll get... I'm going to make one more tool rack, I think, to hang tools on. There we go. I'll put that right there. And since I'm not going out to hunt wolves, we will put these spears in the tool rack. And I'll put this nice medium soul right there. There we go. Cool. That'll keep my inventory nice and clear for all that panning we're about to do. And we'll put our door back in. And I'm just going to throw a torch right there so I don't lose my torches. We're going to throw down some material to pan with right there. There we go. And we just right click. And this is it. This is the exciting thing of panning. I'm going to adjust my toolbar a little bit. The joy of panning. Very relaxing. Great time to sit here and talk, chat. So if people want to talk, join chat. It's a good time for it. Oh, got our first bit of copper there. And some quartz. Quartz is really good in the future when I want to start making things like, lanterns and such for lights. Because you need the quartz for the glass. Oh, got a rock. Piece of slate specifically, because it's slate gravel. Got some flint on that one. It's kind of random what you're going to get, but it is a set list of things. Like there's a percent chance of copper, there's a percent chance of getting a piece of flint, percent chance of getting a stone of the appropriate type, depending on what kind of gravel or sand you're panning. The chance of quartz or even clear quartz, which are slightly different. There's also a chance of getting things like arrowheads and spearheads. Oh, it does not like the torch above my gravel. Alright, that's fine. We just have to keep the gravel over there. That's fine. We can work with that. But the main thing we're working for tonight is copper. We need 20 pieces of copper to get our first copper tool. Because it is 100 units of copper per tool, and that's 5 units of copper per nugget that we find, so 20 will get us 1 tool. I also need to make a crucible so that I can melt the copper. But once I get that pick done, we can go and start mining some actual copper veins, because I found some copper veins in the rock areas around my base. This panning is the price of advancing technology in Vintage Story for that first sort of jump. But once you get past this, it can get pretty fast. And then the next real big hurdle from there is bronze, and then to iron. And once you're into iron, your next big step is steel. And that's kind of the end as far as your metals go for tools and making things. Goal-wise for this playthrough, obviously I want to do the story, because I've never played all the way through the story. And then I also think I want to build a windmill. I think it'd be really cool to get a nice windmill set up and automate some flour grinding with an automated current. And if we get really, just kind of let's go for it, maybe we'll even build some half hammers, which are basically hammers that are hooked up to your windmill that automatically hammer onto the ingots you put on the anvil that's under them. Really cool. I've never actually made one in this game, so that'll be a learning experience for me. I've seen some videos on it. I've seen some other people do it, but I've never done it. So I think those are some nice goals to kind of shoot for, to tell us when we've hit kind of our target for the series. And of course I also want to kind of find a nice collection of various traders and merchants to talk to and see what goods they've got, because I've only done, really the survival stuff. I've gotten into the Iron Age before in another playthrough. But that playthrough was very, very thin on merchants. I didn't see a whole lot of merchants when there's several varieties of merchants in the game that have little camps set up that you can go find. I have some marked on my map, so that might be something we can do later in stream, depending on how things are going. You're just not getting very lucky on copper tonight. Yep, I say that and we get a copper. But anywho, one of the things you can see that we've got a copper arrowhead, which is nice. That means we can make better than stone arrows. Just need feathers and sticks we have, and I actually have some feathers from where I found a dead chicken. I did not kill the chicken, I found one, and I butchered it and got some meat and stuff out of it earlier. And that was in my previous stream. Well, I think it was 2 streams ago, because I've actually streamed this series. This will be my 3rd stream of it. I only uploaded the 2nd one to YouTube because the first one, noob streamer mistake. I was hanging out in Discord with some of my buddies, and they started chit-chatting about things not related to the game or the stream. And so I decided not to upload that one to YouTube. If people have questions about why it seems to start at episode 2. And I really didn't accomplish a whole lot in that episode anyways, other than just throwing down the dirt hut I'm living in. Which I do plan on converting that dirt hut to a cellar. I know I mentioned that in the last episode. We're not there yet. I need a saw. Once I get a saw, we're going to start making boards. We're going to build a nice house. And maybe a nice blacksmithing shop where we can set up our anvil and blacksmithing tools for as we get into the higher technology of the game with metal tools and better armor, better weapons. Because while spears are great for throwing at things, and the stone spears would kind of get you by, they're not the best weapons in the game. You really want, like, a flax, which is a type of sword. You can hear a bit of a storm rolling in. My character is really starting to run out of food here. That green bar on the bottom is my hunger bar. When that runs out, we start taking damage. Now, to pan, you have to be standing in water, like my character is, you can see. You have to have a block of dirt or sand, apparently, with nothing above it. It has to have open sky above it. Well, not open sky, but an empty space above it. And then you have to make a pan, which making a pan is easy. You just get a block of wood and a knife in your crafting menu, and it lets you make a pan, basically. And then you just right-click the dirt. Once it's in the pan, you right-click again, and your character will shift. You don't have to hold it down. I thought you had to hold it down the first time I was panning. And it actually causes some confusion. Like, your character can put the dirt back in the sand pile. It's this weird little, thing. There's some weird little quirks that can happen there if you try to hold down right-click. It does still work. You'll still eventually pan it. But we're just having a nice little panning stream. I saw someone join chat. Welcome to stream, or welcome to the stream. Feel free to talk and chat, as I'm just sitting here panning through the night in the game, trying to get enough copper to make my first copper tool. In this case, I'm trying to make a pickaxe, because I know where there's some copper veins I could then go mine to increase my amount of copper that I have access to for tools. We're also trying to get our farm going. But with it being nighttime, don't want to be out, don't want to have to fight drifters all night trying to farm and pan. So I built this little dirt hut to pan in. So, part of the way I found Vintage Story is I found a couple other streamers / YouTubers that were playing it and making videos of it. And one of them made a really beautiful panning spot in one of their streams. It was made out of glass overlooking a lovely valley that they had developed and planted a forest in. And if you're someone who commonly watches Vintage Story streams or channels, you probably know who I'm talking about. It's a guy named Ryan. His channel is named Hardware Despair. Cool dude. Makes a lot of really good content. I've learned a lot about Vintage Story from him. But welcome to stream. Feel free to type in chat. I am watching chat. I also have a mod that will poke me if I miss chat stuff. But my character's hunger is seriously starting to get low. I might have to go get more food from my character after I finish these 2 stacks of sand, well, gravel I have right now. I've almost got enough copper for my first tool. I'm at 12 out of the 20 I need. So we're getting there. And with any luck, we'll get one more out of this little bit of sand. Getting a nice stack of flint, too, which will be good for in the future. Not to mention, it'll keep me in you know, stone tools for now. We got 13 pieces of copper now. What else did we get? Anything else? Oh, we got some scrap metal. So the scrap metal is kind of cool. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this here real quick. Make a rope. So we can make a rope, make some scrap metal, and a stick. And you see this makes this thing called a scrap weapon kit. You can take that, put that on your hot wire down here. And we also got some blue clay. Nice, that'll help me make some fire clay later. And what we can do is we can equip that in our hand and hold right click. You can hear as I'm holding right click, he's doing something with it. And boom, we've made a sword. Super handy. But let's go see about feeding our character here. So I turn off the lights. There's some flint right there. Alright. Since we need food, go in here. Throw down that torch. And close it up for the evening. We'll put our sword away for now because we don't actually need the sword right now. And I'm just going to eat these onions. And I think I'm going to have to eat these mushrooms. I didn't want to eat these mushrooms. I was trying to save up some of this food. I guess we're just going to have to eat it as is. Mostly because my cooking pot that I was going to use to make a nice stew is still in the pit kiln. But that's going to keep us alive for now. We eat that mushroom. And we'll eat a little bit of this rye too. I don't really want to eat just the raw rye, but it's what I got. I can hear a drifter out there. There's a drifter hanging out outside somewhere. There we go. Just tasty rye. We're just eating that raw rye. Alright, what time is it? It's like 3 a.m. Oh, we've got some pelts. Nice. So with these pelts, we can make some better bags. And some clothes and stuff. So let's see here. Let's make the hunter's backpack. What do we need? We need a medium pelt and 15 reeds. Do I have 15 reeds? I do. I can make 2's hunter's backpacks. Nice. That'll help us upgrade our inventory storage nicely. So what we need to do is get some of this stuff out of here. So that can replace this basket. There we go. And there we go. Alright, so we're going to have to move some stuff around so we can replace that other basket. There we go. Alright, nice. And now what we can do with these baskets, because I don't need them right now, is we can cut them down and make them back into cattails. I called them reeds. No type of reed. You know. There we go. It's kind of our first real bag upgrade, which is nice. Nice to have. I can hear them out there. Alright, let's reorganize my inventory a little bit. Alright, we will grab the sword and a couple of the spears. Carrying a lot more on myself than I really want to, but that's what it is. Alright, I need to get rid of this death spot. That's where I died last stream, by getting attacked by wolves. Alright, so I know we've got a local goods trader up there. Since I was talking about merchants, figured I'd show you on the map. I found that in my first stream because I spawned basically like right up here for my first, when I spawned in. And I thought I'd found another trader. Have I not found another one in this playthrough yet? No, doesn't look like I have. I normally mark them. So we're going to have to go look around. We're keeping an eye on this because I found a pear tree down here, which is very nice. Got some interesting caves, and you can see where I found like some high fertility soil over there, which would be very good when I want to improve my farm. I'm not there yet, but it will be very good. Found some red clay over there. That's where all my clay came from that I'm using. Oh, right. Over here on the coast, we found a meteorite impact, which you can get meteoric iron from, or sky iron as some people call it in the game. And there's one of those copper nodes I marked over there. And that one's actually exposed right on the surface. Like, you don't have to dig to get down to it. Like these up here, they're actually under the soil. And the way you see that is you'll see little copper nuggets on the ground. It'll tell you that there's copper nuggets on the ground. I'm just waiting until sunup so I don't have to go fight these drifters. Sounds like they've cleared out. Oh, my kilns are done, finally. Nice. And the drifters have wandered off. No, there's one. Running for me, drifter? Bad drifter. Bad. I hear Boatworn. Where you at, Boatworn? Oh, he's over there. I see him. He's shooting at me. Oh, that's why there's so many over here. See that's one of those temporal rifts that you can get in the game. It spawns monsters. Very annoying. Especially when it's right next to your house. Ooh, got some flax fibers off that guy. Now I can complain about that. We'll get these berries here. A little breakfast. Especially since we're a little hurt. Being at full food bar will help us heal faster. A little better. Or at least it seems to. I don't know if that's actually true. I saw a drifter over here wandering around. I don't know where he's wandered off to. This one didn't have anything on him. Anybody else? No drifters? Alright, not too bad. Not too bad. Cleared them all up. Didn't have to wait all night. But I also saw... It looked like one of the rye patches over here was finished growing. So this is a nice wild rye patch. You can see that it's growth stage 9 out of 9, meaning it's fully mature and ready to harvest. Which means you get a little bit of rye and a seed. Which is nice. What's the temperature around here right now? 12. So this is good until negative 12 or, you know, high 12. It takes 24 days to grow. It is May. I'm a little worried if we plant the rye, it may get a little warm for it. We'll throw it down and see what happens. Get it growing. We'll also plant some of our other crops while we're sitting here thinking about it. Because I said I wanted to get the planting done and get some planting done. We've done the panning part. Let's do the planting now. So we've got onions. The onions are perfectly fine in this weather. We can put stone in here. That'll help there. Let's see here. What about down here? I need to keep my inventory open. Alright. Flax. We definitely need to plant the flax. We'll put the quartz in here for now. Take the spelt. Yeah, spelt will be perfectly fine in this weather. I'm a little worried about the turnips and the rye, as I said. But we will make do with what we can. I'll put these. Alright, I can put the flax in there. There we go. Alright. That will work, and I put that in there. And I'll put this blue clay in here, because that blue clay will be useful. I'm going to keep the wood on me. I'm going to grab some of this clay, though, because I do want to do just a hair, just a little bit, of clay forming real quick after I get these seeds planted. And planting these seeds will be really good, because that'll help clear out some of my inventory. We're going to put all the rye just kind of back here in this corner. And one of the things you kind of have to keep an eye on is the different plants do use different nutrients. You see this one uses N. So when you notice the soil has different ratings on the different nutrients, it will deplete those over time. So you'll want to cycle your crops around. Just like the onions use P. We'll put our onions over here. Just get them growing. Our turnips also use N. I think we'll put the turnips just next to the onions for now. I'm going to break this grass, get this grass out of the way. What else we got? Our flax uses K. We'll put the flax over here. We'll keep the grain on this side and do the vegetables on the other side there, I think. Because we need lots of flax. And what we got? We got spelt here. Spelt also uses N. And we'll put the spelt there and there. There we go. I think that's all of my seeds for the moment. Alright. Those will be okay for a bit, but we do need to make 2 items really quick. We need to make a crucible so we can actually do our smelting. I don't think I made a crucible. I made a prospecting pick and a pickaxe mold. I knew that. I made some bowls, because we need the bowls for food. And I made some cooking pots. All great things, not going to help us with smelting or farming at the moment. But alright, so we'll just do this up here where we've got a nice view of everything. So we just hold shift, right click, and then we get to pick what we're going to make. And we need a crucible. And we're going to just do a little remove 2x2. I thought I heard something else while I was looking around. Alright, we got to remove all this excess clay. And then we're going to go back to our 1x1 for now. Put the bits back. It's left click to remove a voxel, right click to add voxels. And then once we get this layer done, because this one goes up kind of high, we can just duplicate what we just did and just do that a couple times until we reach the point where it stops. There we are. We're going to go to the 3x3 because you just fill in this whole layer here. Or not. You actually don't fill in the middle. Never mind. But there we go. That's done. Alright, so we have a crucible. And the other thing we're going to make real quick, because we'll need this for farming, is we are going to make a watering can. And we'll remove all these extra voxels here to get ourselves a watering can. Because until I can get a bucket, the watering can's what we're going to have. Alright. Add these voxels in. There we go. And then we'll just duplicate that a couple times. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to go back to our 1 voxel. Make the handle. Or the spout. I think that might actually be the spout. And then we'll, yeah. There we go. We keep working our way up this sucker. Layer by layer. That's how you do the clay forming in this. And then once it's done, we'll be good to go. And you can just fill this up from any water source. And if it rains, you don't have to worry about watering your crops. At least for that day, anyways. The good news is they lose water levels slowly over time. It's not like an immediate, like you have to water them every day thing. You just have to keep an eye on that moisture level of the ground. Which I'll show you when we go back and look at the farm here in a minute. There we go. And it's a watering can. And we'll just cake and throw that down there. And we'll throw our crucible in this one. There's a couple other things we could make, but I'm not going to worry about that right this second, because those are not the things we have to have at the moment. Now we're going to... I need more sticks. Sticks. That's going to be a problem. Alright. We'll go over here to this nice nearby forest, get ourselves some sticks. Apparently I don't have an axe on me. But that's okay. Oh, there's some more rye ready over here. There we go. Got a little more rye. Now let's look at getting some sticks. This also let us get some more tree seeds, so that we can have a nice little tree farm going, because we're going to need a lot of wood as we start getting in to the Metal Age. We're going to need to make some charcoal. And I'll walk you all through the process of making charcoal. It's not too terribly hard, but it can be a little daunting. One of the tools I'm looking forward to getting is a pair of shears. It makes breaking the branches on these trees a lot faster, because it does it in bulk. It does like 3x3 squares or cubes of branches at once. How many sticks we got? We got 13 sticks. That's not quite enough. I'm gonna keep breaking a few. Need 8 sticks per pit kill, and we want a light. And so 13's not going to get our 2 done. We need 16. And I'll probably get a tree later and come back and cut this sucker down, because this tree does not look like it's a resin tree, which is unfortunate, because I will need resin in the future, especially if I want to build the windmill, because it's my understanding you need resin for that. You also need it for making certain bows and other items. So resin is a very important kind of mid and late game component right now that I just don't have a good source of. There we go. Yeah, no, it's not looking like there's any resin on this tree. See if we can't knock off a few more branches here. You always kind of need branches. That's how you make the tools for your handles, or, yeah, the tool handles and stuff. You also need it for lighting your pit kilns. We're also going to avoid that temporal rift there, because we don't need to cause ourselves problems. Getting too close to it will basically start spawning monsters that we just don't want to deal with. It's not like we're wearing any armor right now. I'm just a guy out here in his farmer outfit, basically, because I'm a commoner. Because this game does have a class system. Now, I don't have the class-specific recipes limited right now, because I'm a single-player game right now, and I don't want to limit myself too much, so I've got that opened up to everybody, which is also why I'm playing as a commoner, so that I don't have any of the buffs or debuffs, so to speak, of the various classes. Each class has a strength and weakness, which is really cool. It's great for multiplayer. I'm going to set this down right here real quick. Then, where can I put these things? That's one of the things I'll also need to build at some point, is a rack for my molds. And then the cooking pots can go over here. And then the bowls can go over here for now. There we go. And actually, I think I will do some cooking real quick to get us some food going. Alright, we're just going to make... You know, we have all this rye. I think we're going to make ourselves a nice bit of rye porridge with some vegetables in it. Yeah. There we go. We'll do a little bit of rye. There we go. So you put 6 in each thing to get... And that's per serving. So if I just wanted one serving, it'd just be 1 and 1. Since I'm going to make 6 servings, we're just going to do that up like that. And you can see that's going to make 6 servings of rye porridge with mashed turnip. May not be the most pleasant sounding thing in the world, but right now, it's a lot better than starving to death. Alright, let's get our torch, use that to light the fire, get that going. There we go. And then I'm going to go put this seed down while I'm thinking about it, get it growing. There we go. I'll go check our local onion population, which has another portal. What is our portal activity? It's high. We have high rift activity. That's why we're seeing all these temporal rifts. Oh, we got some more onions. That'll be good. Get those planted. That's not ready. I almost broke that one. Oh, we got a small dead animal here. It's a free bone. You can use bones for making tool handles as well. And they actually increase the durability of your tools if you do that. Like you make a bone knife. Or, well, let me rephrase that. You make a stone knife, in this case a flint knife. Because flint of your stones that you can make knives out of will have like the highest durability. You make a flint knife with a stone handle. It's got like 170 durability as opposed to 150 if you use a stick. I heard a pig. There's a baby pig. Oh, it's probably the one in this hole over here. Let's see here. We're just going to explore a little bit. We're going to see if any of our... Because I have a couple local vegetable patches that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. We'll just see if any of them have anything for us. Oh, we got some berries over here. We'll grab those berries real quick. And then we'll go back and check on our porridge. The reason the berries are good, though, is you can add berries to porridge as well, which is a nice way to get a bit of fruit in your character's diet. Because the game does keep track of kind of how balanced the diet you're eating. Are you eating protein? Are you eating, you know, fruit? Are you eating vegetables? Are you eating some grain? You want a nice mix. Because that affects your maximum health on your character. Okay, we're just heading back. Since I did leave a pot on the stove. It's not like it'll burn or anything, but you don't want to waste too much fuel. And if the fire goes out and it doesn't finish cooking, you know, you're not cooking anymore and you'll start losing progress. Let's come over here and check on it. It is indeed done. We're going to save our firewood, grab our porridge, and we're just going to set it right here on this little rock shelf I've got. Because the other thing I can do is throw my door, that's what I'm calling it, it's not really a door, throw my hay bales back in, and now, if you notice, we have a storage, our food perish modifier on these baskets and stuff. That's because this room, because the way it's built, technically counts as a cellar, so this will last longer. We're going to get a bowl and get ourselves some delicious porridge, turnip porridge. There we go. Look at that. That was like almost half of a food bar. I didn't want to put the bowl down. Nope. Give me back the bowl, please. I wanted the porridge. Nope. Game. Alright, put the bowl on the floor then. There we go. And there we go. And you notice we didn't actually finish the bowl, so we're going to keep that. That's fine. I'm going to put some stuff away real quick. If I can find a place to put stuff. No, nothing in there. Put this clay back in here. We already put our onions in there. You know, I'm just going to need some more storage, I think. I think that's just what this is telling me. I can put the bones in there. And for the time being, I'll throw these arrowheads and other things I don't need in there. And I'll put... I think I had pine cones in one of these, didn't I? Yes, I did. Saving the pine cones so I can eventually build a little pine forest. And we'll throw down our extra wood. There we go. And we'll quickly knock down the wall and go back out here and go plant our onions. Because if we get our onions planted, that'll be good. Again, this is just giving us a better control over the food we have access to moving forward. And the other thing I need to do is I need to go cut down some more of these cattails. Because I'm desperately going to start needing more storage. Oh, we got some more flax over here that's ready to harvest. I hadn't even marked that flax, so apparently I just never noticed it. Alright, so just throw that down since there's one more, or two more patches of flax right there that will be ready at some point. We got turnips. Nope, parsnips here. Never marked these either. Wow, Not paying attention to the area next to my house. I can throw a little white marker down on those. Parsnips are kind of a white color. There we go. We got some more flax. I already marked that, though. It's not ready to go. We'll just swim over here to this little patch of cattails and get our cattails. You could also harvest the roots of these things for food if you're desperate. I try not to, because I'd rather the cattails grow back, because you need them for making rope and baskets, like the storage baskets I've got in my house, and for making traps for catching small animals like chickens. So if you want to start raising chickens, they just have so many uses. And with the amount of rope you need for some of the late game stuff in this game, it's always good to have lots of cattails. I see someone has joined the viewers there. Welcome, welcome. If you have any questions or want to make any comments, I am monitoring chat. We're just trying to get some storage woes sorted out here in Vintage Story, because I just need more storage for my home. So I'm gathering cattails. Meanwhile, we're also working our way towards copper tools. We're going to be doing some panning here in a bit to get some more copper. Try and get that first real copper tool. In this case, pickaxe is what we're going for first, because I know where there's some copper nodes I can actually mine to get copper in a much more reasonable amount than panning for it. Don't get me wrong, there's something therapeutic about just panning through the night. We also just got our first bit of pottery done, so we can actually cook real food now. Instead of just eating random berries and stuff I'm able to forage. Alright, got all those cattails. We'll go this way. Get these over here. Keep seeing, like, all these lovely little bauxite rocks on the ground and thinking it's copper. It's really making me sad every time I'm like, oh, look, orange, and it's not copper. Although it is good, because it can be a very nice decorative stone for building with. So, you know, it's nice to have. And there's also different minerals do spawn in different stone biomes. So it's very important to know which stone biome you're in. Like, one of the other streamers slash YouTubers I follow, who plays Vintage Story, recently encountered malachite, which is a form of copper, for the first time in one of his playthroughs recently. Oh, I didn't know I had peat over here. I'm going to mark the peat. I wonder if it's the same peat that's over there. I wonder if these connect. Peat. There we go. Peat's a wonderful fuel source in this game for things like your pit kilns and stuff where you're doing pottery. Rabbit. I'm not going to hunt the rabbit, though. It's one, I think my inventory... No, I actually have plenty of inventory space. I could hunt the rabbit. I'm actually going to fix my hotbar a little bit. Put that over there. We've got some spelt growing over here. Got to be very careful in areas like this. You're starting to get into forests like this. You might run into a wolf or a bear. And having been killed by wolves in my last stream, I'm trying to avoid that. Not because, you know, I have a limited number of lives or anything. This is not some of those challenge playthroughs where people limit their life totals and respawn times. This is fairly standard playthrough, so I have unlimited lives with just a random respawn distance away from base. Or, well, away from spawn, I should say. Oh, I will take these branches, though. I do need these sticks. Ooh, blueberries. There we go. Blueberries are a nice find. Mark that. I'll mark the blueberries. Blueberries. There we go. Alright. Keep an eye out for resin. Oh, we got a whole bunch of ruins over here. And the portal that I about walked into. That would have been unfortunate. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat these blueberries, just because I could use a little bit of nourishment there. Ah, these chicken of the wood mushrooms are great. These are good edible mushrooms. There are poisonous mushrooms in the game, so you do have to be careful about which ones you harvest and eat. There we go. Any more? Any more mushrooms? That's more bauxite stones. Well, let's see what kind of ruins we have here next to this rye. We've got a tool vessel. Oh, we've got some bony soil. Bony soil is really good. Got an ore vessel. Oh, this is a nice ruin. And I've even marked this one before. So I've been over here. I just hadn't cracked open these vessels. So you can find all kinds of things in those vessels, from seeds that you can't normally find to, you know, ore and equipment and stuff. We've got a farming... Talking about seeds, right there. Let's see what we get. We're going to put some of this stuff away so that I've got open inventory space on my help bar. And it was twine and feathers. I'll take the flax twine. It wasn't seeds. I was hoping I'd get maybe some rare seeds or something. But I'll take the flax twine. Loose flint. What about over here? Nothing. So we've just got the ore one and the tool one. Now with my limited inventory space, we're going to have to kind of pick and choose here. So we've got tool, and we've got ore. Let's go tool. And, oh yes, that's very nice. We've got a tin bronze knife and an extra flint knife. That's fine. And we got some more flax. Nice. I did not mean to use my knife on that. And what do we have? We have a food vessel over here. So we'll have to come back. This has been a fantastic, little find over here. The tin bronze knife is very nice. It's going to last us a good long time. I'm obviously going to work my way through these flint knives first, just to get them used up. What kind of mushrooms are these? Earth ball. I don't know if those are good or not. I just don't have the inventory space for them. But, you know, we'll leave them be. Yeah, we will take these blueberries back with us, though. Because we can cook with those. There you go. I was about to say, where'd those blueberries go that I knocked off that bush? Alright. So work our way back towards camp. I hear that portal off to my right. We're not going to get too close to that rift. There's apparently a resin tree over here somewhere that I've marked. I can tell because I always use that same sort of orange-shaped pine tree. Got a raccoon. And our house is off to the right. Is this the resin tree? This looks like the resin. Yep, there it is, right there. Got a storm blowing in, that's why the music's picking up. But let's see here. We'll get back to base. We'll offload some of this. We got enough stuff we can make another couple storage baskets, which would be really good. And we'll check on our farm. I don't expect there to be any problems with the farm, but we're going to check on it anyways. Yep. Moisture's looking okay. Though if we can get that rain, that'll make the moisture look even better. One thing we are going to have to do is we're going to have to fence this in, though. We don't want rabbits getting into our field. I'll just use this to break it. There we go. Alright. How much food's left in this bowl? Wait. That was 3% of a serving. I was like, wait a minute. I'm used to decimal places. Alright, there we go. We're going to put the bowl down there. That'll give me some extra space to make these baskets. So we're just going to make our little square and get our baskets. That's one. We'll see what that gets us. And it'll go right up there. There we go. Cool. Now we're going to reorganize this. We're going to get that out of there. Put these in here. Put that in there. We'll put the berries in here. Look at that. See these? You can already hear the drifters. Drifters are already bothering us. Acting like they own the place. Put some food up there. There we go. But look at that. It takes those berries up to lasting for 7 days. Just by putting them here in this impromptu cellar that we've made. So we'll plant this flax later. I'm going to see if I can't make one more chest. Get the rest of this stuff that I don't need out of my inventory for the time being. And I can make one more chest. Put these feathers in here so I can store them. Keep the flint, keep the copper for now. I actually put the clay back in here just so I have a place to put it. Same with the arrowhead and the clear quartz, because what we're going to do is we're going to take our gravel and go do some panning for the night. I don't like how that went. Come back here. Put that straight on. There we go. That's better. We'll throw that linen, or that flax fiber in there. I'm also going to knock down this torch, put it back in my inventory, and then I'll put it back up. That way, the torch will last longer. And I'm also going to grab a bowl, and we're going to refill it with some porridge. Look, that porridge just sitting in here is going to last for, 14 days, which by itself is pretty good. And we're going to open this up. We're going to put away these extra tools that we don't need right now. I'll keep the sword on me for now. Pick up the pan. There we go. Grab those. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just put this in my offhand for the moment. And then we'll take this. We'll block that. Gonna make a run for it. Over to here. Ah. I'm safe in my little hidey hole. And then what I can do, press X. And we're just going to throw our torch on the wall there. There we go. And we're going to enjoy the night of panning, because we got a few hours to pan. Have a nice safe evening of panning. Maybe find some more copper. Because again, we want to get to that magical 20 copper nuggets to get that first tool. And I do want to thank the people who've come by and stopped by the stream, hang out. A couple of you have chatted, a lot of you just been lurking. And again, for my YouTube folks, this will be uploaded to YouTube later. And I appreciate all the people on YouTube over there that stop by and watch my videos. But we'll see what we end up with after we stream for the evening. Let those drifters and Botorn just, get their frustrations out against my panning bunker walls. Instead of me. Because, again, I don't have any armor on. I just have this scrap sword that I threw together out of some of the iron, or out of some of the scrap metal I found while panning, funny enough. Scrap sword's not a bad little starter weapon. Well, it's not really starter. Starter weapon's like a stone knife or a spear. Stone spear's pretty good, though, for starting off, especially for hunting, because when you throw it, it does a good, 5 points of damage or something like that. We'll check the stats in just a second. It's not very good for melee, but it does work. It'll get the job done, and it gives you a little bit of reach compared to some of the other weapons. Where the scrap sword, I think, is 2 or 3 times better damage-wise, especially melee, than the stone spear. But, again, you either need to have the restricted class crafting recipes turned off, which I do, because, again, this single player, or you need to have someone who has the right class to make those crafting kits, and I forget which class it is. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to tell me which class it is. Which, feel free to leave comments. Things you think I could improve, etc. You know, things I might have overlooked in my playthrough. Ah, where'd they get me? Somebody got me. They must have gotten here in the water. Keep an eye out. Because that's about the same amount of damage as a drifter would do hitting me. I might have to block up that little hole. I did not expect a drifter to get in the water and attack me. I wonder if they're throwing rocks and if one just happened to go low enough to hit me. Because drifters do throw rocks. That's what I'm going to guess happened. Because I'm not seeing any wandering around out there. The other thing I can think of is if one of the little crawlers, because there's some that don't wander around on their legs, they drag themselves around by their arms. If one of those got down in the water, it might have crawled up to me and hit me. I don't see one out there. Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're throwing rocks. Okay, well, we'll go back to painting. And we'll check the damage on those weapons like we were talking about. Alright, so, spear. Yeah, it does 2 hit points of damage, or 5 piercing damage when thrown. See? Much better when thrown. This does 3 hit points of damage. So, straight up, 50% better than the spear when it comes to melee. But you can't throw it. So, still really good, decent melee weapon for someone like me who has not actually gotten into the Metal Age yet. Let's see here, what time is it in the game? Yeah, it's not even midnight yet. Alright. But we do have our 20 copper that we needed, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and throw this flint arrowhead up in here. We also got some zinc. That's what that sulfurite is there. That is a type of zinc ore, which has its uses as well. I believe you use that in making bismuth bronze. I think you use zinc in bismuth, if I remember correctly. Again, someone feel free to correct me on that. Because one of the things in this game is to get into bronze, you do have to know the ratios. Now, the cool thing is, once you get an acceptable ratio of your metal in the crucible, it'll tell you, oh, this will make X amount of tin bronze, or bismuth bronze, or black bronze if you're using gold and silver to make your bronze, which is stuff you're mixing with copper. So, we got a bow torn out there. So you hear that kerthunk sound? That's a bowtorn shooting at me. That we're going to have to go out and deal with in the morning. Actually, you know what I can do? I just had a great idea. We're just going to plug up that hole. They know what they did. There. And we'll go ahead and eat our dinner here. There we go. Not quite full, but, enough food value. Alright, how we doing? Now it's after midnight, and we're up to 23 copper. Not bad. I know painting's not the most exciting thing, but we're gonna do it for now. In the future, I may not stream panning as much. I may do that on, like, off-screen and just do, like, spend some time panning. And just pan, or just stream the more interesting parts, like once we get into smithing and get an actual anvil set up. The other thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start doing some hunting. Got to get more meat in our diet. Because unfortunately, our character does not have a lot of meat in his diet right now. Because I haven't been doing a whole lot of hunting. Primarily because the wolves got away from me and also overwhelmed me last time I tried to hunt them. And I'm not ready for bears. And I don't have a lot of boars around. I had that one baby piglet running around. And I killed, I think, one boar. But I haven't seen many more, so I'm probably going to have to go out and look for some. And I've been avoiding killing the chickens because I want to capture and raise the chickens. It'd be nice to have a good source of eggs because that would give you kind of a constant flow of protein. I do need to look into making a one of those chicken farms that basically separates out the chicks from the adult chickens, so that you always know what generation you've got, you know, in your breeding area. Because until you get to the 10th generation, they're not fully domesticated. Now they'll stop running away from you at the 3rd generation, and I think it's around, I feel like it's the 7th generation or something, where the roosters actually stop fighting each other, because roosters will fight and kill each other. That's a real problem. Now, the good news is, the generation of your rooster doesn't matter as far as, like, breeding purposes go. It's only the hen's generation that matters for what generation you're going to get when they hatch. And that's how it is with all the animals, as far as, like, the generational and the taming stuff goes. They're not really fully tamed until the 10th generation. But generally somewhere around the 3rd generation is when they start freaking out about you coming into their pen and bothering them. It doesn't mean they're not useful. Like, you can still milk the milkable animals before 3rd generation. It's just more difficult. You gotta kind of sneak up on them or get them to be calm or something like that. It can be tough. I've seen other people do it. We'll check the time here after I get this block of gravel done. See how much longer we gotta hide out in our little panning cave that I've made here. Or the panning bunker, if you prefer. That one was close by. It's right outside the door here. I'm glad I plugged up that hole. It stopped them from getting to me nicely. Let's look and see. We're up to 31, so we're almost to 2 tools, so I might be able to get a prospecting pick as well as my pickaxe. That'd be nice. Alright. It's like 3 a.m., so we only got like a couple more rounds of panning until sun up and they start to clear out. That'll be nice. And welcome to the viewer who just popped in. I see you lurking. You haven't mentioned anything in chat, but welcome. We're just doing a little bit of panning while we wait for sunup in Vintage Story here. seeing if we can't get a bit of copper. Trying to get to our first copper tools. You can hear the drifters outside stalking around trying to figure out how to get to me in my little panning bunker I've made at the lake in front of my house. Not the most exciting part of the gameplay, I admit, but a great time to chill, relax, talk to people. And some people actually find the panning of Vintage Story very therapeutic. Not to mention, there's also kind of the excitement of seeing what loot drops out of that block of gravel you work your way through. Or sand. But, as I was saying, in a few more minutes it'll be sun up, and we'll be able to venture out. I did hear one Bowtorn out there, which is a type of monster that shoots these large, almost ballista bolts at you. That's not going to clear out with sun up. I think that's something they're still working on. Is they intend for those things to, like, leave when the sun comes up. It's not like they die or anything. The monsters just go into hiding in the caves. But the Bowtorn, for some reason, don't follow that. Like, the Drifters do, and the Shivers, which are like these little crawly guys, they do. The Bowtorn, for some reason, don't. So, every time we come out in the morning after sun up, and as the Drifters are clearing out, you have to clear out the Bowtorn that have been left over. Which is fine. I mean, they're a little annoying because they do a lot of damage with their ranged attack. But, they're also cowards. So the moment you get within anything resembling melee range, they try to run for it. So you just gotta run them down and beat them with a stick or something. Now, I don't hear any Bowtorn right now, but they could just not be shooting at me because they don't have a direct line of... Like, they'll shoot at you if they think they have a line of fire on you. Even if they don't. Like, you know, you could be hiding around a corner, and they'll start shooting the corner trying to hit you. But if you're fully enclosed, they won't waste the bolts. Alright, let's see here. 4:30 in the morning. Might have it after this last 2 blocks of gravel, hopefully. Might be light enough to go out there and start messing around. We're almost done with this set of panning. I heard something out there. It sounded like it might have been a Bowtorn. So we might still have one out there. It sounds like the drifters are dying down. They might be moving out for the evening, as we are getting close to sunup. It starts getting light out in the game around 4 to 5 a.m., but sun isn't officially up until like some time between 6 and 7. So yeah, it's a little after 5. So let's take a quick little peek and see what it looks like. Ooh, we got a copper spearhead. Nice. And we got some metal parts. Metal parts will be good for later on in the game. I don't see anyone. Any Bowtorn? Yeah. Looks like they cleared out at around 5. Oh, wait, there's one. Still wants a piece of me. Or he's trying to figure out where to go. Ow, he threw a rock at me. And again. Bad drifter. Oh, I will take the twine, though. The flax fibers. Very useful. So, I mean, it's it's absolutely worthwhile killing the drifters and stuff. You can get some good loot. It's not an every time drop, but, you know, often enough. It's worth it. This is my little farm I'm working on. Alright. My pit kilns are still burning. Doing pit kiln things. Go over here. We'll offload some of our stuff. I'm using this as a cellar besides, you know, just my house. That's why I keep the door closed. There we go. Go ahead and fill up my food bar there. And I still have, you know, almost half a serving of food left. And we still got one serving in that, which is nice. Plenty of time on it. Right, we'll throw the quartz in there. We'll throw the arrowheads and all in there because we're not going to need those right now. That's full. There we go. And we'll throw the zinc in there because we don't need that. And we'll throw 2 of the copper nuggets in there because we only need the 40 to make our two tools, if I can talk. And we'll throw our flax fibers in there with the other flax fibers. I got to figure out where I'm going to put these metal scraps. You know what? They'll go in the kind of random box over here. And then, alright, well, you can also get the blue clay as well. Just a random box. Put our pan back down over here. And I just realized I don't need all these rocks. I had these stored. There we go. There's where I was storing my slate rocks. Don't know what I'm going to use them for yet. I might use them to make like a nice little cobblestone road type thing, I think, here in the near future. We'll go back out here. There we go. How much longer I got on my pit kiln? Don't know. Activity is medium today, meaning we're still going to see some of those rifts around, which is the potential for monsters to spawn. Let's go do a little bit of foraging while we've got some time. Especially since I see some more mature grains over here. Get those grains, get those seeds. Now this is just spelt, so spelt's not bad to have. So we'll take that back because we can cook it, and we'll go plant that. Spelt's going to be great for growing this time of year in the game because it's starting to warm up. You know, like you can see right now, the current temperature is like 13°C, and that's like perfectly in the middle of the range that spelt likes. So that's something you got to pay attention to this game, because if it gets too hot or too cold, you don't get good output from your crop. I just saw something in the woods over there. What was it? It was probably a rabbit. There have been a lot of rabbits in this area. But I just want to make sure it wasn't like a wolf or a bear. I did see a bear nearby earlier. There's another portal. That portal can stay there. We're not going to go mess with the portal. You get too close to the portals and bad things start to happen. That looks like a fruit tree over there. If it is a fruit tree, I haven't marked that fruit tree. We're going to go investigate. Oh, it's a wolf. I think that's probably one of the ones I was hunting before. They were traveling in a pair earlier. And there's the rain. That's good. I won't have to water my crops today. Got him. Meat is back on the menu, boys, to quote a famous movie. Alright. Got some hide, some fat. Nice. I'll take his bones, too. We'll grab these field mushrooms, because we can always use those to make some good food as well. This has been... It's good. And it also gets rid of one of the wolves by my house. He's got a companion somewhere. I don't know where that companion has wandered off to. Lots of like little bits of loose flint and granite stones here. There's that bear I was talking about. He's in the water. I'm not gonna risk it. Let me get some rye. So one of the tricks you can use for hunting bears and wolves is getting them in the water because they move slower in shallow water. Specifically shallow water. You get them in deep water, they can swim a bit faster. But I'm not going to risk it because, one, if he gets out of that shallow water, I'm not going to outrun him. And I will not succeed. 2, he'll like kill me instantly. 3, I'd respawn back at my starting spawn location and have to do a corpse run, which I really don't want to do. Alright, let's see if we can't find that fruit tree I saw. Found some cranberry bushes, and it is a young apple tree. And what we're going to do to help this little young apple tree is we're going to get rid of these birch leaves. So that it has more space. There we go. And see this young apple tree. I can, one, get cuttings of apple tree from it eventually, and then plant them. Now they only have a 40% chance of actually becoming apple trees, but, you know, that is a chance to make more apple trees, which will grow apples for me. And the fruit off those fruit trees lasts longer than the berries that you find, as far as when it comes to storage and stuff. So it's a very good thing to have. And to know where it is. I need to actually mark that on my map before I run off from the apple tree. I was about to make a mistake there. Not that it's so far from base I wouldn't find it again. But I also don't know what season. I think it fruits in fall as well, so yeah, that's when we should come back and check it for fruit. Where is it? There it is. We gotta mark it right here. You can actually kind of see it on the map there, that light green color. We're gonna go with this nice bright green color and go apple tree. We'll just say apple. And there we go. Throw that. There we go. That way we always know where it is. And we can always come back to it, check on it, see if it's produced any fruit. And eventually maybe take some cuttings of it. Yeah, that's one of the nice things you can do is make orchards, and you can use the fruit from your orchards to make, you know, wine and stuff. Now, you don't get as much food value from the wine and stuff, but it makes it last a lot longer. You can also use it to make, like, jams and things. Again, lasts a lot longer, but you get a little less food value from your stuff. Let's just wander around here a little bit, see if we see anything of value real quick before we head back to base. I think we're actually probably gonna call it there pretty soon for this stream, because we've had a fairly productive day. Oh, we got some more flax, so we'll take the flax. We managed to get a little farm going. We managed to pan up enough copper to do our first smelt, which we'll do in the next stream, because our crucible is in the kiln right now getting fired, so it will be ready to go. Actually, you know what, we may not be able to do that next stream. I just thought about this, you know, because we're gonna need some charcoal or coal to fire that, to do that smelting. So that means I'm gonna need an axe and some wood, because we're gonna have to make a charcoal pit. So I think next stream we'll be making a charcoal pit and setting up a place to do our charcoal burn. And if we get the charcoal burn done during that stream, then we'll do our smelting and make our first metal tools. So on that, let's head back to base. We're going to offload our stuff. Maybe cook just a little bit of food for our character. Not that we need to right now, because, I mean, also it's not like the game runs while I'm not streaming and playing, so this is not on a server. This is just a little individual game. So let me go get back to base, and I think we'll call it there. Alright. Let's finish wandering through here. Hopefully we don't run into that bear. That would be very unfortunate. There's the wolf. Oh, I just threw that spear. And, alright, we're going melee. Okay, we're gonna get our spears back. Find the wolf, because we're finishing this fight. That was the other wolf that was part of the pair that jumped me the other night. Right before the end of my stream. So we have avenged ourselves. We've hunted the wolves. We've killed them, and it was a mated pair because it was a male and female. And we will take... Ow. That was the bones falling on me. That's what hurt my character there. There we go. Now that has been a successful hunt. To really cap things off. There we go. We have successfully gotten the copper we need for our first tools this event, or this session. We've gotten our farm set up. And we've avenged ourselves from the wolves that killed us last time. So, overall, it's a very successful day in Vintage Story. And with that, I just want to thank everybody for joining me tonight, for those who stopped by and watched the stream. And I hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. I also want to thank those who are going to come by and... Oh, we found a poor dead raccoon cub. But I also want to thank those who will watch this on YouTube. You guys are great. And we'll see you next time. This is Dominic Rom signing out. And remember, like and subscribe the video on YouTube. And if you really want to directly support me, go check out my Patreon page. I try to post things early on there. And I'm looking at some more benefits to give to my Patreons in the future. So, again, thank you all for your support. And y'all have a great time. Remember, we're trying to trade and prosper out here in this Vintage Story. So we're going to find some more merchants. We're going to sell them some more stuff. Good night.